Red2a, red class. Today is Wednesday, March 1st. Looking at standard 3 and standard 4. Page 18. You just type this in nice and easy, no big deal. You're trying to find the one answer that is the correct answer. This is a system of equations. For those who were here last time, you know system just means, hey, good morning. System just means that you have two of those equations instead of just one. One is an equation. 2, 3, 4 of those, you have a system. Now again, today's lesson has the potential to be tricky. So what I'm going to try to do so you feel good for most of it is mess around with some of the easy parts. But eventually the thing that's going to mess around with you are the words, the vocabulary. And say stuff is the answer viable? Is it non-viable? Is it not a solution? And you're like, well, what are you asking? So I'm going to see if possible to show you what to look for before they start throwing all the words at you. In any case, also grab a computer too. So let's just begin first with what you looked at last time, so that way it could be nice and easy. We know the system of equation. All it's asking you, and this is reviewing from assessment 3 today. Of course, we're looking at part of assessment 4. It's just asking, what are the two numbers? For those especially who weren't here last time, what are the two numbers that if you were to subtract them, they would give you a 2? For those same two numbers, if you were to add them, it would give you a 6. Now, of course, last time we kind of did with our brain, kind of thought about it. But now that we have technology, we're able to just put in the two equations, and boom, where they intersect is where we find the solution. So nice and easy if you know what you're looking for. So let me type that one into decimals just again, so we have that. And then from there, we'll try and take that next step, which includes the bag of potato chips. So let's see if I can break my decimals. All right. Last class, actually, we had some difficulties. Decimals didn't come up. It didn't come up. So we found another one, which is a Symbo lab. Symbo, as in symbol. Symbo lab. In case you ever run into the fact that decimals isn't working. So again, those who are just coming in, make sure you grab a computer. X plus the y equals the 2. And the second one was x minus y. And that x minus y equaled what? Well, the top one was the minus and the bottom was the plus. All right. Let's back you up. X plus y equals 6. All right. So again, the goal of this unit 2 is, a long time ago, we would solve these using either substitution or elimination. And so from there, they decided, well, let's do something different. Let's show that with technology, boom, they can get the answer, but if it's up here, do they know where to look? Is it this one here where it hits the y? Let me ask that, see what you remember from, could be unit 1. Anybody know what this answer is called because it hits the y-axis? Y-intercept. And then this guy down here, someone different. What is this answer called because it hits the x-intercept? Right, it's the x-intercept. Okay, I guess that would be the x-intercept, wouldn't it? All right. So again, if you know what you're doing, the solution, the answer, the solution to a system of equations is where the two lines intersect. And I'm trying to use the vocabulary because, again, on the test, I want to say, hey, what's the answer to these two problems here? They're going to say, please solve the system of equations. If you don't know what that means, you're like, what? Please find where the two lines crisscross. That's the old thing. So for those who are here, boom, that's the old one. For those who were here, nice and easy, plug it in, you're good to go. Standard 3. You may remember, though, those who were here, because it's so easy, once you know what you're looking for, that they give you those crazy equations with y equals 1/4 x and a decimal point and a negative sign. Same idea, though. Where they crisscross is the solution. That's the old stuff. Here comes the new stuff before all the vocabulary is there. If you can see this crushed bag of chips, you are halfway through standard 4. Now the problem is they're going to use words like viable and non-viable. This standard 4, they're not only going to ask for one answer, which again, when it's an equation, a system of equations, there is only one answer. What you're about to do today is a system of inequalities. They're going to be a bunch of answers. They're going to ask you for 3 of the good ones, 3 of the bad ones, and then 3 that are kind of in between. So this bag of chips, I hope, is going to help us figure that out. Repeat this phrase after me, because again, for some of you, once you start feeling like I'm getting lost, what are they looking for? You're going to be looking for a good, bad, or in between. If you want to say good, bad, or in between, you'll say that to me. We'll do it twice. After that, you don't have to repeat it again. But the good news is, by doing that again, with these chips, you're halfway there. So repeat after me. Good, bad, or in between. Good, bad, yeah, or in between. Yeah, that's your first try. Good job. I'll try again. I'm not telling anybody that you did do that well your first try. But the second try, you got to do better than that. Second try is it. Here we go. I know you're in high school. I know if this was 5th grade, you say a little bit loud. I get that. I'm still going to do it because I know it's going to go into your brain. And the thing that you're going to be looking for will be easier to find if you repeat after me. Here we go. Good, bad, or in between.
Good, bad.
Way to go, 5th graders. No, here's the deal. Here's the deal. All right. So I thought about this last night. This morning I woke up before the alarm thinking about, okay, I know some people are going to miss this thing if I don't give it to them. So here's the deal. You buy a bag of chips. Now I got one so you can see through so you can see how you're getting gypped. You buy a bag of chips and you open it up. And then you look inside and go, what? There aren't any chips in this bag. Now what's important about that is if you are reaching in to get the good part of what's in that bag, you have to go all the way down to the bottom, which I don't want to, which is where your chips are found. Today, when it's time to find the answers to the new question that you're going to be asked, and it's going to look weird, just know step 1. You're first trying to get the chips. That's the good part. You got to go through the bad part. Good, bad, or in between. You got to go through the bad part, which is the top of this bag, which is barely filled with anything, but again, they can sell it to you as long as they write on the bottom of the bag that you're getting 12 ounces or whatever ounces of chips you're getting. Good is the plum. That's where you're reaching for the answer today. Like they ask you to find 3 answers, 3 good answers. Remember, you're going down to the bottom of the bag to get the chips. When they say, hey, I need 3 answers that are no good, it's not even an answer at all. All they're saying to you is, go to the top of the bag, but there's nothing in there. You're mad about it today. The in between is going to be sideways, but here's the good news. If you know what the good is, you know what the bad is. There's only one place to look for the in between. So here's what I want you to see, and you're about to draw this. In math, they're going to give you this, but it's going to look like 2 lines intersecting. There's going to be a part that's colored in. On your paper will be in black because it can't make color. On your desk, it'll be the darkest color. That's the good part. That's where you're going to get your 3 answers. At the top of that, you're always going to see that there's going to be the empty part. The empty part is the bad part. The bad part is where you're going to get the 3 answers that don't work. And then lastly, the size. You're going to see the size. They're going to be lightly colored. They're the in-between. The words I'm going to use for this is viable solution. The good stuff. Viable just means acceptable. As a matter of fact, so you can use that word viable. Each school month, you're supposed to turn in a certain number of units to be in good standing. You need a viable number of units turned in. Let me ask the question. What's the viable number of units that you can turn in a school month to be in good standing here at Office? I see one hand. I see a 4. Any other numbers that you can turn in and you still be in good standing? I see 6. I see 5. 7. Those are all viable solutions. Why am I stressing that? When they use the word viable, I just need you to know that it means acceptable. That's acceptable. All right. Let's do one that's non-viable. Non-viable for us, for units, will be, hey, you got something, but it's not quite acceptable. What's the number of units that's non-viable? It's kind of in between. 2, you can try, you got something in, but it's not viable, it's not acceptable. Any other number? 3, you're close to it, it's non-viable. So you're close to it. Any other number? 1. Today's lesson is all about, I'm going to give you a bunch of answers, and I'm going to put one up here in just a moment, and you have to know how to choose the good, the bad, and in between. As far as the units are concerned, what's an answer of it's just not a solution per month? If you turn in this number of units, it's not a solution. Yeah, zero. There's no good, just nothing. All right, you got your chips. You can see it. And let's see if we can turn this thing into math answers. So here we go. Go to, I'm going to take you to another page, or the other page, and there it is. Go to 21. I think we had put 21 into the computer, but let's try and get to page 21. Good, bad, or in between? I didn't even introduce y'all. Introduce her when she comes back. 21, please. 21. Good, bad, or in between? So here's what I want you to do. We'll actually try and sketch this very first one. Well, you know what? Before we sketch it, before you put it into the computer, I'm going to have you write something on the top of that page. I'm going to draw 3 versions of these potato chips, and then we'll go from there. And for those who have not been introduced, you've never met her, you may have seen her around, she's a student, she's not, she's an assistant principal. Please take a look at the back of the room. Yes, it's Kathy. She's, no, wrong person, wrong person. She is a student, not the assistant principal. But straight back we have Andrea. Say hello to Andrea, say hello. Or nothing, just ignore it, don't return, like, whatever. I don't know you. So she's here today observing to make sure 2 things. One, to make sure that your education is kind of what it should be. That I'm kind of giving you the stuff that you need. But then 2, kind of want you to make sure that you are taking care of business as well. And I didn't ask today, but I guess I should ask for permission. In an effort to try and fill your bucket, I know I can just do it. But I'd like to ask. Thumbs up says yes. You can help me fill my bucket. Thumbs down says nah, I don't feel like today's sideways in between. So here comes the question: can I help you fill your bucket? I see some. I'll take it. I'm sideways. I'll take that sideways too. Thumbs down. Keep it to yourself. All right. All right. So here we go. Step 1. Let's draw those potato chips 3 ways. And eventually, again, I'm switching that thing over to math in a moment. Because again, as I thought about this last night and this morning, the idea was, what if they don't really get it? At least they know what they're looking for. So there we go. I'm going to put mine up here. Let me see what your page is. I think you have space at the very top of yours. I'm going to squeeze mine in here. But you do your best. There we go. We're going to draw a bag of potato chips. We'll start with an X. And I'm going to color in the bottom of my potato chips. You draw your bag of potato chips just like mine. You're doing this at the top of page 18. This is the picture they're going to give you more than once. For this, when you look for the solutions that are viable, acceptable, they're the good stuff, it's where the potato chips are. So here I'm going to put the word good. Of course, good, bad, or in between. Good, bad, or in between. And then after good, I'm going to write the real word. So again, good, bad, in between. This is in the small handout. So next to good, I'm going to put viable. The bad is the top bag of the chips, where no chips are, it's just a bunch of air, so they can sell you a bag that looks like it's full. This one we're going to put bad. Good, bad, or in between. After bad, we're going to put not. There's not chips in that section. Not solution. Sounds weird, you'll see what I mean in a second. It's the words that'll mess you up. Anybody can tell the good part of the bag, the bad part of the bag, but they're not going to say good bad. All right. And the sides are going to be the in between. I'll write it across. In between. For some of you getting in those 2 units last school month, you were non-viable. You need to be viable. In between, and then again, I'll put non-viable. This first time we'll write out all the words. The next 2 times I'm going to draw that potato chip bag because they're not just going to set it up normal. Sometimes they're going to lean it to the side, sometimes they'll turn it upside down. What's important to me is when a student looks at the picture, they can tell where the good stuff is, where the bad stuff is, and the in-between. That's the big deal today. Writing down the answers, that's the tricky part. Right? When you look at it, like, I know what the answers are, just not write them. Okay, you're halfway there. But that's one bag of chips. Let's change the bag of chips the second time. The computer's going to do the work of producing the picture. You just know what you're talking about. Second time, please write this potato chip bag. We'll do this sideways. It starts with an X. Again, you're going above. I'm only doing that with my space limited. This time, someone knocked my bag of chips over. And I will allow you to write good, bad, and between. In this bag of chips, here's the second bag of chips that were knocked over. Please write down good, bad, or in between where it should go. And then we'll do it one last time. By that last time, you should feel so comfortable that they can't fool you even if they tried. So again, you don't have to put in the Bible, non-Bible, not solution. You go with good, bad, and in between. So in the second bag of chips, in a moment, I'm going to ask you for your favorite bag of chips or chips that you would be willing to eat. It's possible that in the kitchen I may have that for you. It's possible that I may not, but in any case, though, start thinking. We'll go around the room really fast. You'll see what type of chips you might want after we get the last picture. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come on and check mark you in just a second. I'm going to check mark your second bag of chips. After that, we'll do our third bag of chips, so we'll get to go. This is the part that's most important to me. Alright, I mean, on this third time. Why is he doing it like 3 times? These are the various ways I can show it to you. The other part you should get to feel is, if I can do it regular, sideways, upside down, you should get to feel good like, okay, I got this thing. I'm going to show you one other version of it, so that you know like, oh, shoot. Alright, this last time, I'm not going to check mark it, but I don't expect it's going to take you very long to do it either. Once you finish that third time, put your right against us. Now I'm going to show you the picture, just to let you know that just what you've done so far, the potato chips, the 3 bags, you're like almost at the finish line already. All right. A question was created by someone just to kind of mimic a little bit what it could look like on the test. Now you have a simplified version. Look at this version up here. There's a big paragraph up here to kind of scare you. Then the 2 equations, and even if they have decimals, letter P's over there. Here's what I want you to think. Let's see how it feels. I'm going to ask you for thumbs. Look at the picture of their potato chip bag. When you look at this picture, if you can identify where good, bad, and in between are, then you know exactly what to do. I'm going to ask for thumbs. Thumbs up when I look at it. I can find it if I had to. Sounds like I'm good, but I'm not kind of sure. Thumbs down is like, point it out for me, and that way I'll know for sure. Show me thumbs real fast. When I look at this picture, I can find the good, bad, in between. Alright, good. The extra part that I need to do for you, because right now you're like 75% of the way there, is, alright, so now that I know where the good is, where the bad is, and the in between, alright, how do I write down the answer? How do I put it down? Alright, let's mess around with that. Alright, let's see what we have here. This section here, we'll build it first with our brains, then we'll go computer. So let's build first with our brain for just a second. Then we'll go computer. Here comes. On your paper, this says here, I need an x plus a y, 2 numbers, and when I add them, they are either equal to the little bottom mark, that they're equal to 6, you can go they're equal to 6, or you can do, when I add these 2 numbers, they can be less than 6. What are 2 numbers that when I add them together, they're either equal to 6 or less than 6? I want you to do, you can do two choices, or if you're good, you can go 3. In other words, you can do, okay, I can use this and this, that's one choice. Or I can do this and this, that's another choice. Or I can do, see if you can get to 3. If you get to 2, you're good to go. So what is he asking us to do right now? For the first equation, or rather inequality, this thing is called an inequality. He wants us to give 3 possibilities as to what the answer could be. Just in case your mind is thrown off, you're like, I can't picture what he's asking. Let's get someone to throw out an answer. What are 2 numbers? I'm going to add them together. It's less than or equal to 6. 2. That's one of the answers. How do we know? Oh, 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 less than 6. Okay, that one went. Do me a favor. Put in either 2 more or actually 3. This is the thinking version, but the version that you're going to get won't be the thinking version. You're going to get a picture, and you just have to look around and find it. To know that if you had to think it, you'd be able to. Good question. So again, put that in. For those who don't know, it turns out not only are there a few answers, but there's an infinite number of answers. There are 10, there are 100, there are 1,000 of these answers if you know positive and negative numbers. If you don't know negative numbers, then you have few choices. But if you do know negative numbers, there are actually a million answers that you put in. All right, do this in blue, for me in blue. Go ahead and put down this guy here. You will get to see part of that stuff again today. 2 numbers. What are 2 numbers that when you subtract them, they're either bigger than or equal to 1? Now, technically, in order for this to work out, if we want it to be the same number, for now, I just want you to think. It doesn't have to work out because when we put in computer, the computer is going to tell us the choices that we really want. Blue. What are you doing right now for those who are new? You are solving a system of inequalities. You are solving, in the answer, solving a system. I have more than 2 problems, or rather I have more than 1. I mean, I have a system. Why not equation? Why don't you call them like equations? And inequality means to be not equal to. Somebody's greater than the other. Somebody's bigger, somebody's smaller. So this thing here, because it's an inequality symbol, the whole thing now is called an inequality. If this were an equal sign, this whole thing is called an equation. So again, for those who have trouble in math, half of it is the words. It really is the words. If I were to say, find the answer to this top thing and this bottom thing, okay, everybody's cool with top and bottom. And then you say system of equations, they're like, huh? Let's try this. Someone give me 2 numbers that when I subtract them, they are greater than or equal to 1. Five, 4, good at that. Someone different give me another number that another set of numbers that when you subtract them, they are either bigger than 1 or they're equal to 1. 4 and 5, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. Do that thing. Let me see. That one is going to mess with us because it's going to throw out a negative number. That's a good choice, but it's going to throw out a negative number. Can someone else throw one out, please? 3 and 2. I heard another one. 1 and 2. You have to put that 2 first because if that 2 comes, if the 1 comes first, it'll do a negative number, and a negative 1 is smaller than a positive 1. We could go on, and there'd be more and more answers. So the problem isn't going to be, can you figure out an answer? The question is, can you figure out the answers that work for both of them? With that said, go ahead, put this problem into decimals, and you're going to see, again, your bag of chips. The place of the bag of chips where the chips are is going to be the good ones, where we choose the real answers. The top of the bag of chips will be the second one. Don't choose from up there. That is not going to be right. And then the side of the bag of chips will give you answers that are half right, but they don't quite get it all. So I'm going to put mine in. We'll do this part twice, and then finally we'll go to this handout, and we'll start using some of those words. Because after you do this a few times, again, it's going to be easy for you, which is why by the time you get to the assessment, they're going to try and do something that makes it a little bit more difficult. But right now, if you got the chips in your head, you're good to go. Let's see if I can get mine in there. So some of the answers that somebody wrote down, it turns out some of your answers, when we're looking for the real answer, it will not be viable. It won't be acceptable. Let's see, I need an x plus y. If you don't feel confused so far, that is a great thing because this lesson can be one of the trickiest ones. Less than a 6. And the second one is greater than a. Again, another thing that you're doing here, the test SBAC is coming up in the spring. One of the keys that they need you to have is here, number 5 under Common Core, to be able to use appropriate tools strategically. In other words, you need to have access to an online graphing calculator and be able to get to the different parts that you need, so that if you need to put a less than or greater than symbol, have you ever done it before? Do you know where to find it? If you need to raise something to a power, do you know how to do that? So not only is it getting this answer, but also it's getting you ready for that SBAC. Is it greater than 1? Stick my 1 in. All right. At this point, hopefully you can see your bag of chips. Now, the one thing I couldn't do with the actual chips was I knew that the sides of the chips would actually be these extra colors over here. And I was hoping, okay, once I'm going to punch it in, will they still be able to see? Here are my chips. Here's the good stuff. Here's the bad stuff. The in-betweens are the sides. Of course, they're going to probably try and flip it upside down and try and fool you, but it doesn't matter. Good, bad, in between. So here is the deal. To actually get the answers to this, you're going to be looking at boxes. If I want you to get 4 answers, now 3 is probably what they're going to ask for. I'm going to go for 4 to show you. Once you know what you're looking for, getting 4 is even, it's just as easy as getting 3. To get a box of the proper answers, you would take a box that's in the zone of the chips, that you want. It shouldn't hurt, and I'm not sure how to undo what I just did there, but whatever. I can still see my box in here. The deal is this: where are the answers? Like I don't see any numbers. The coordinates of the edges of the boxes is the thing that you're looking for. The other part that's true is when you're looking for a viable answer, a viable solution, the good stuff, the chips, they never want you to go into the negative zone. If you go into the negative territory, even if it's part of your chip bag, it is still non-viable. In other words, how many chips am I able to get? Oh, -3 chips? No, you can't get -3 chips. You don't get positive numbers. So the solution to this particular one, please choose this box here. For whatever reason, mine is darker. And let me see if decimals, if I click on one of those points, would it show me the coordinates or would it not? Let me check and see if it'll do that for me. If not, only on the line. All right, that's fine because. All right, can I get rid of this? Somebody help me fill my bucket on this one. She says, is it gonna throw in my 4 dots? I mean, not that I can't put them back. I don't want to trash them because I can't put 4 dots right back. All right, so do this for me. Hey Thomas, please get the answer for a viable solution to these. I want 4 answers, 4 that are viable. So I'm writing on here, you're writing on yours. Let's write down 4 good. I'm gonna put viable this time. Eventually I'm gonna drop off the good. I'm just gonna stick with the word viable. You see a friend like, yeah, what do you guys work on today? We're working on viable solutions on systems we face. It's hard stuff, you can get it. So tell them that here are 4 solutions. Now one of them is that first, I'm going to go with the top corner here. He's going to be 1, 2, 3, comma 1. This is one of the solutions to this system of inequalities. And the good news is, when it's your turn to do it, you won't even need a computer. They're just going to offer you the picture. And basically try to find out if a kid was given a picture, would they know how to read it? Do they know where the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the in-between stuff is? The second one I'm going to write here is 1, 2, 3. Well, now I'm going to do the second one on the X line. Some people have trouble. What if the glass on the X line? I don't know what to write. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, let me give them letters. A, B, C, D. Hey, why do you give them letters? That way they know which point he's actually talking about. Point B is going to be 1, 2, 3, comma 0. If you're putting point C and point D, it does not have to make a square. The square is just the easiest version to pull off 3 or more answers. And they will ask you for more than one. Find a box, find its 4 corners. As long as there are no negatives in there, you're a winner. The minute you put a negative in there, then you're not choosing right. Let me do this. Let me come around and check mark your C and D. I'm going to check mark your C and D. And again, this is the main thing. So if you're like, okay, got it. I want to actually do 4 answers of not solutions. Like these guys aren't even part of the answer. You'll choose a box. And I'll say, okay, give me 4 non-viables. Non-viable means like, I got half of it. Look at me, I'm half green, half green. Like, no. You got to have the whole combo. All right, here we go. I'm coming around to check that. Today's lesson doesn't include a lot. It's that vocabulary that I need you to hear over and over again. CR. 40. And just in case that 4 and 0 throws you off, you start at the origin, the beginning, X-Men's origin, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And since you didn't have to go up, like on the Y line, here's on the Y, you go 1, 2, 3. Well, you may have to go up there still at 0. And there's your 40. Someone else say what D is, please? F4, 1. Count over 4. Jump up 1. This is what they want you to have, be able to do. So right now, if you got these 4 right, you're a winner. Everything else that's going to come along is just you hearing the different words, but the day when I give you the assessment, at least to taste it, that's what you're going to look for. So let's see what we have here. Do me a favor, this time only 2. Do only 2, any 2 not solutions. Remember, good, bad, in between. So I'm going to put bad, just to remind you what you're looking for now. You get to choose the box. If you want to do 4, you can, but I really only need 2 from you. But I know if you can do 2, you can do 4. This is not solution. Why do you think extra stuff? Because they're not going to use good, bad, or
So, like, what if the bottom of the box doesn't look right? Is it not at all?
Say one more time, please.
Like, the bottom of the box is touching the right.
That's bad. As far as your chips are concerned, you can't touch any of the lines.
Just like the orange.
That's all right. But the good news is, since you have a million answers, you literally have a million answers. Back off of that guy. Like, don't go to the person right next door to him. Not solution. This one I'm coming to check. The only bad part of this one is every single answer in the classroom could be different. I didn't label it A, B, C. So let me do this so that can help me. Label one of your not solutions. Label him E, and his friend, label him F. And then that way, when I go look for what you're going to write down, I'm going to look on your picture, mark it on your picture somewhere. Alright, you may not have a picture because you give around decimals. Nonetheless, I'll just have to trust. We did 4 goods. You're doing 2 bads. Just do 1 in between. Let me do 1 in between. I'll make him black. Tree. Do 1 in between, please. Good, bad. In between, where are we here? This is a non-viable. Very quickly, raise your hand if you have the bad, the 2 blues. Cover for those, you could be marking your black, the non-viable. Alright, so I want you to go to page, what page was this one here?
21.
This was 21, so I'm asking you to go to page 22 and do the whole thing as if it were a test. You're going to sketch in as best you can. With highlighters, we put highlighters out there. So if you want to highlight the top inequality, 1 color, and then the bottom one, another color. Here's some more highlighters over here. What table doesn't have, where are those back there, Jessica, so you guys can have colors? 2 Bible. I'll be walking around. I may not check mark these. 2 not solutions. And 2 non-Bible. Alright, I'll be walking around, but I won't be checking. No negatives on Bible solutions. The other 2 guys, non-Bible, not solution. Those who watch the video, let me put in decimal so that way you'll see what you see. For those of you who've been absent, if you haven't been rewatching the videos, yeah, this lesson is going to be fine and easy, but there's some other parts of the other parts that may not be. So make sure you check those out. You can come with me and watch here. Obviously, you have access to it at home as well. All right. So again, if you finished and you're waiting, because you're going to do 6 pages, you could choose to finish the back of this page to be one of your 6 pages. While I try and get this one on the board. On the journey, we're nearing the end of the journey. There are 2 that you can do the official deal. Now that you can do it without a story, they want these to be done with a real world problem. So they actually give you a scenario. Let's see if I can get mine. So again, what are you doing right now? Either you're finishing, this is page 22, or for some of you who are looking ahead, you're starting to work on the back of that page so that when it's time to turn in your 6 pages, or the 6 pages that you're going to choose, you have it done. It has to be front and back. Alright, let me see if I can get this part here. 4, 5, 20. 4, 5, 20. Again, if you're not feeling confused at this point, that is a super thing because this lesson can be confusing for many students. Only the top, I don't find it confusing, so if you don't find it confusing, you're a part of the top. Second one is text. Let's do line. The same thing I have on the board is what I've been seeing that have been going around. I'll put in here. Good. Bad. In between. And let me put on viable, not solution, and non-viable. What are the constraints on the solutions? Again, more words, like what are some of the answers that you can't use for the viables? Does anyone know what you can't use for viable?
Negatives.
Negatives you can't use. Because again, if they're talking about bags of chips, you can't have negative bags of chips or whatever. So negatives is one of the constraints. You can't use negatives. Alright, so there it goes. At this point, you can lower your computers because you won't need those. Let's give you this first guy. This guy will be test-like. A class color. The paragraph is what we're going to read, just so you can know where all the stuff came from. But in the end, and I wish I could have gotten what's on the back to be on the front. So I'm happy to write your answers initially on the front, so you can do that one. Okay, good one back now. So with the name class color, did you have two just with the name class color, I'm going to read that paragraph to you just again so you can identify some things and have you underline some things. Because again, whenever you're reading in math, unlike English, which is why some math people get math, they're slow readers. The reason they turn out to be slow readers is in math, you have a paragraph, you got to read it once, twice, maybe. You see all that's going on in it. English, let's say if you're reading a novel or story, you just skim it, you just boom, you're just going. You're not focusing on every single word. And as a result, a math person winds up reading these novels and takes forever. Because again, their brain is still trying to read every single word to see if it matters. In math, it does matter. English, not as much. Let's see if we can get here to the end. We'll do this thing. We may only need to do this one time because I feel like you all have done pretty well with it. Here it comes. Hey, Chloe. Chloe needs to buy pallets of erasers and poster boards for school. Do me a favor. Circle erasers and circle poster boards. On any real world, and that's what this is, I'm going to have you write the word real world on in just a moment, right above it. In any real world system of equations or system of inequality problem, there are always two things they're talking about. So real world, step one for you is to identify the two things that they're talking about. They're talking about erasers and poster boards. Each poster, normally there's money involved, each poster is 90 cents, and each pack of erasers is $1.50. Now, underline the 90 and underline the $1.50. And actually, not only you're underlining it, but you're underlining the 90 connected to the posters. That way, later on when you see the equations they give you, or the inequalities they give you, you're like, okay, why did they put the 90 with the posters and the 150 with the erasers? You marked it already up front. She wants to buy at least 20. Next class, when we go to the next level, because I didn't want this thing to get too crazy, I left out this whole thing of at least and at most. What symbol does it turn into? That will be next time. But you do need that part. She needs at least 20 erasers. That means she needs 20 or more of them. And posters. She doesn't want to spend more than, I'm line that more than 25 bucks. Hopefully what's happening to some of you right now is like, this big paragraph, like, whatever. I don't even know what they're talking about. The good news is, my plan was, when they got to this paragraph, and they tried to mess with some of you, in the end, that bag of chips would save you, because the question that you're going to be asked is still, where's the good stuff, the Bible answers? Where are the, at that point, where are the good answers, the bad answers, and the non-Bibles? And that's what they're going to ask, regardless of this big paragraph. The question here, it says, this situation can be modeled. Please, double underline model. It's like a whole new thing nowadays, where they give you a paragraph, and then they say, we're going to write that paragraph as a set of equations. Well, the way they say that is, please model the real-life situation with equations. In other words, please write this thing as this thing. Here it comes. Answer the question on the back. So here's what I'm going to have you do. On the front initially, so they can be looking at the picture, and then you'll transfer your answer to the back. On the front, let me see how many, or let me go to the back, find out how many they want. 2 Bibles. Just 1 non-Bible? What? I think you guys like to the next level. I define the point. And just 1. So they're doing 2, 1, 1. You don't even need like 4 or the 3 or the 2, 2, 2. In any case, here's what I want you to do on the front. Do good, bad, in between. I'll put the real words. Why does he want on the front? Because again, on the front, if you put the answers down, you'll be able to see the whole thing while you're doing it. Then you just transfer your answers to the back. But if you have to flip back and forth, you're just wondering if that'll mess somebody up. Again, when you write good, put down that word Bible so it means something. You're near the end now. Yeah, so at this point, you're like, okay, you're in it. If you can do what I'm asking you right now, feel good inside. You made it. Not solution. And then in between, Try first on your own, just in case we're going to work with something. The goal right now is, okay, are they ready for it? In between, which is non-Bible. And now the only thing that should be messing up a little bit is the words. And they just want 2, 1, 1. So go ahead and try and do that. Again, that ABC thing, mark ABC on your picture. That way when you're putting in your answers, your solutions, I know that you really meant the number you put down. You know the good, the bad. Also on those little exit tickets, again, if you haven't started marking on those, do that. That way it'll help as I reflect back on this. In between, even though they're only asking for like 2.1 answers, again, in every section, there are actually a million answers. Could it stand? I'm sorry. In the good section on this one actually is limited because it's boxed off by the negatives. But in terms of at least the bads and the in-betweens, there are actually a million answers you can give. The good, they're trapped in that segment because you can't use negatives. So let's do this. Any final questions on this guy right here? About the good, the bad, in between. Any constraints on the Bible? Actually, someone say out loud, what's the constraint on the Bible?
No negatives.
No negatives. No negatives. The other part usually is you can't have a fraction. In other words, you can't have half an eraser. But no negatives is for sure. And usually no fraction. You're not buying half a motion. They're carrying it half here. Can't do that. Do this. Take a final look there. I'm going to grab your assessment. If you finish the exit ticket, you can see that to the middle aisle. If you have not, before you leave, you'll still finish that one. I did get a chance to check everybody off. I didn't notice anything. Those who weren't here last time, standard 3 has a computer element to it. If you decide to mess around with it. All right, so do this. Put away your notes.